Hello there, welcome to Bryan Lomax Movie Talk and my patron requested review of The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension. Joseph Lionelle requested this one. Now, yes, Joseph, Joe, good friend of mine, has been very supportive of this channel, must be said. And I've done a few patron requests for Joe now that they've always turned out to be really interesting films at the very least. He's, my tastes and his tend to align quite often. This is not the case here, must be said. Okay, so I didn't like this film at all. I'm a sci-fi guy. I really love sci-fi movies. Joe knows this, and I guess I'm not the comedy guy. I think I've probably shown that much on my channel. I do, there are comedies that I like, but it's a very, very particular thing, isn't it? Comedy, and for me, this film just did not work for me. Now, I did have a chat with Joe on Facebook after I watched this, and he sent me a video. It's like a video essay somebody done on YouTube, and I'll probably post that down below in the description, to be honest, because it is interesting, and it does make me appreciate where the film's coming from. It's a good essay that looks into the origins of the narrative, really, of what they're trying to do with this film, the in-joke, so to speak. But whether that's an in-joke that should last for an hour and a half long movie is up for debate. And if I was in that debate, I would say no, it doesn't, quite frankly. Like I say, that video essay, it does touch upon some interesting stuff. Like if you look at the Avengers movie, there's scenes in that actually, if you just came into that movie on its own, without knowing the history, without watching Iron Man 2, Captain America, Thor, Incredible Hulk, it's just, if you came into that film, just the Avengers, there are scenes in that where you'd literally be like, what are they talking about? And it's like, and this film does that without having a history of other films come before it, but that's the joke, that's the gag. It's harkening back to those comic books and serials and things like that got so tied up in their own mythology because they just ran and ran and ran, and people would just, you dip into them from an issue, issue 56 when without having read the previous issues, and then the characters would be talking about stuff you just don't have any clue about, and that's it, that's the gag. But it runs, like I say, for an hour and a half, and it just doesn't do anything for me. So it follows this character of Buckaroo Banzai, played by Peter Weller, someone I've never been particularly enamoured with. I said as much in my review for RoboCop. I just think the guy isn't a bad actor by any means, but he's just adequate, I guess. He's probably cast right, I guess, for this role. That kind of real dry delivery. But yeah, he plays this guy who is a rock star, a scientist, a racing car driver. Yeah, it's that ridiculous. And then he goes on this mission to save the world from an impending alien destruction due to... So it loses me, quite frankly, because it's just that bonkers. The plot is all over the place. It's often quite hard to follow. And yeah, I don't really know where else I'm going to go in this review, because I was not into this film at all. I didn't like much of the performances. There were a couple of funny moments. It felt laborious to me. It was a bit of a slog to get through. And when those final credits hit, I literally messaged Joe straight after, as soon as the film finished. I messaged him and I was like, do you really like this? And he does, and that's fine. You know, we don't all have to have the same taste all the time. It's film, it's subjective medium. And I know that it's a bit of a cult classic, this movie. You know, you look on Letterboxd, it's got a pretty respectable score. I think it was like 3.3, something like that. So on the whole, most people who've seen it would say it is a good film. It's just for whatever reason, it ain't my cup of tea. I was bored, I was confused, I maybe didn't get the joke well enough to care. The story and the characters are so bonkers that I don't really feel like there's something to follow or engage with like a traditional narrative. So because of that, there's a disconnect. I'm just disconnected from these characters throughout. When they're talking to each other, they're not really talking about anything that matters on a substantial character-driven level, because it's all about this, this in-joke, this geek in-joke, and it's just, for me, reading issue 56 when you have read issues 1 to 55, you are with those characters, you get the characters, so you are still invested in them. Coming straight in at issue 56, which is essentially what this film is doing, that's the joke. Hey, I'm not invested. I don't care about these characters. I don't know who they are. I don't know their little in-jokes. I won't even be able to get to find out what those in-jokes are because there are no films before this. And I get it. That's the joke. But I don't care. I don't care. I'm not invested. I don't know what else to say. On a technical level, it's not particularly well made either. But again, I think that's part of the charm for many people. The special effects are terrible. It has a really cheap, nasty B-movie quality about it, which I think is the point. I understand that. Sorry, Joe, on that one. Some you win, some you lose. Like I say, me and Joe, we do tend to align most times. This isn't one of them cases. I'm going to give Buckaroo Banzai a 2 out of 5. That's probably being quite generous. As I say, there are some humorous moments in it. I am a bit of a stickler for Jeff Goldblum. He can usually do something completely innocuous that still makes me laugh, and he does that a couple of times in this film. There are a couple of clever gags in it, but for me, an hour and a half of it is just too much. 2 out of 5 from me. But what about you? Have you seen this crazy ass film from the 80s, and what do you think about it? Leave your thoughts down below. Let me know what they are. Maybe console Joe a bit for my roasting of this film. But thanks, Joe. Better luck next time. Hopefully, you're still on board. No, we're good friends, so he'll understand. But there you go. Let me know your thoughts on the film. Thanks for watching this video. And until next time, cracking.